Hello, thank you, and welcome. Bradley LeNart here again, the author of Your Path to Greatness and Activating the Law of Attraction, also the founder of Bradley Life Systems, and welcome back. So today I share with you AudioCast number 3, and within this audio we're going to go over your greatest resources and your hours of potential. Also a little bit about the science of successful living. So I have a question for you, and here it is. What is it that you believe is your greatest resource in life? Well, if you were to ask the general public, they would come up with one of 5 responses. 1, some say it's their career. 2, some say it's their house. 3, others say it's their money or their earning ability. 4, some say it's their relationships. And 5, some say it's their intellect or their learning ability, which is probably the best answer of all. However, the truth is your absolute greatest resource in life is your time. I mean, think about it. In order for you to have a great relationship, you need the time to be able to get into that relationship. Even if you get into a great relationship, you still need the time to keep up on that because the dynamics of a relationship are ever changing. In other words, there's a certain amount of upkeep that goes into a great relationship, just like anything else, and that takes time. You say, no, Bradley, in order to get into a great relationship, I need the right person to come into my life. Well, that way of thinking is simply not taking full and complete responsibility. What am I talking about? If you want to attract the right person into your life, you need to have the time to work on yourself in order to become the person who will attract the right person into your life. And then most of all, keep them there. Make sense? So it takes time to get what we want, and it takes time to keep what we want. And in order for our outer world to change, we must change on the inside first. You know, I love that old adage when they break that word up, responsibility. They call it responsibility, your ability to respond. So taking full and complete responsibility is not only utilizing what life has to offer to us, but it is about our ability to respond to the circumstances that will change our outcomes. No matter who you are, what you have, or what you haven't achieved or think you haven't achieved in your life, I'm here to tell you your responses to your circumstances and the utilization of your time is exactly what is creating your reality. Now remember, our Creator has only given us a certain amount of time on this planet, and that is the bank account from which we draw upon in order to live our dreams. And it really is all about taking full and complete control and responsibility of our time and our greatest resources. So my second question to you is this. What is it that you believe is your second resource? Well, I would have to say your second resource is your focus, and then your third is your energy. So if you want more money in your life, well, guess what? It takes time, focus, and energy to create more money. If you want to learn a new skill like flying an airplane, it takes time, focus, and energy to not only learn how to fly the airplane, but it takes time, focus, and energy to attain the finances first in order to pay for flight school so you can learn how to fly the airplane. So this is how we have to think about creating our dreams in the future. We must always think about the necessary steps in succession in order to ultimately get where we want to go. Then always make very positively sure we are spending the currency of our life, which is our time, our focus, and our energy wisely and headed towards our greatest desires. Time, focus, and energy are your top 3 greatest resources, and these resources are the only resources we have that can be converted into anything we could ever want to create for our lives. You see, time, focus, and energy are one and the same, and they go hand in hand and work together in order to make up this experience we have here we call life. And the most extraordinary thing is that time, focus, and energy cost you nothing. It is something that we generate within ourselves, and then we give out to the world in trade for something else. So in whatever field it is you decide to pursue, repetitious time, focus, and energy geared toward that field will take you there. The person who is able to spend more time, focus, and energy on a skill, a craft, or worthy outcome is the one who will lead the field. So if money is an issue for you, look, they do not teach us finances 101 in the high school or college curriculums. So we must remember the proper succession first. What do you think that might be? Well, I would have to say research in that area so you know what to do with your finances first. Then spend the proper time, focus, and energy to be able to create that for yourself in your life. And this brings up a great point, something I want to speak about briefly. Pertaining to getting what we want, We have to first know what to do in order to move ahead, rather than just blindly taking action. And this is exactly where most people get hung up. They either do not know what actions to take, or they get caught into that paralysis of analysis phase that seems to never end. Pertaining to knowing what to do, there is something known as the 80-20 rule. Now, throughout my life, I've been pretty much through living hell and back. And those of you who know my story, you know I've pretty much tried it all. And I have to tell you that the 80-20 rule always pretty much reigns supreme within most endeavors. What is the 80-20 rule? Well, the 80-20 rule is a simple formulation that is 99.9% accurate when calculating your actions towards a goal, a skill, or a worthy outcome. The 80-20 rule means that 20% of your actions towards a goal, a skill, or a worthy outcome will get you 80% of your results. And so it be the same with other endeavors in life. So think about it. It is proven through years of study that if you own a business, 20% of your clientele within a specific age, income, or demographics will give you 80% of your success. Even within the restaurants you decide to go to, 20% of the available restaurants in your area will become 80% of the restaurants you go to most of the time. If you're an entrepreneur with multiple streams of income, 20% of those income streams will make up 80% of the income you rely upon as a multifaceted entrepreneur. So in order to know what to do, we can first look to the 80-20 rule for answers. But even more powerful than that is to find other people who have achieved what we want and then ask them what their 80-20 rule is. As you may know, a few years ago, I had the privilege to meet a mentor of mine, which changed the trajectory of my life. The man's name was Tony Robbins. Now, Tony had me on one of his stages as an example of living health, and although I was just there for the seminar, he and I are both helicopter pilot rock star wannabes, so I was able to get into a pretty profound conversation with the man. And Tony calls this process modeling. Now, modeling is simple yet very powerful and very effective, and rather than wasting years of time, focus, and energy reinventing the wheel, we can find the key common elements and know what to do by asking people who have already gotten where we want to go. Now, we've taken this modeling principle to the next level with the 80-20 rule, and you may say, Bradley, this all sounds pretty obvious, so why do we need to speak about these things? Well, most people overlook these simple strategies. And because out of the 16 principles I outline in my up-and-coming book, Your Path to Greatness, clarity of thought, otherwise known as clear and honest thinking, is the number one principle. You see, the clearer we can think and compartmentalize, the more resources we tap into within the subconscious mind, and the more power we will have over our lives. And just as success is nothing more than when preparation meets opportunity, like Tony says, clarity is the preparation needed ahead of time that creates that edge in life. Like I've said in the past, even proper time management comes down to clarity. If we truly want to live at our fullest potential and create our greatest dreams and desires, we have to understand there are key common elements that are simply not taught in any high school or college curriculum, but need to be understood pertaining to creating a successful, happy, and purpose-driven life. Also, anything you can do as a human being to save or increase your time, your focus, or your energy will greatly increase the quality of your life. So many people get into habits that waste these three resources away. Even small amounts of wasting, like too much time gossiping or too much time on the internet throughout your days, can build up and turn into many wasted hours. You say, Bradley, how does gossiping waste my time away? Well, gossiping changes your focus. Now remember, your focus is one of your greatest resources. And we as human beings continually get more of whatever it is that we focus upon. So if you endeavor within useless negative gossip about others, then your life will also become useless and petty. Gossiping about others shows lack of integrity and is nothing more than immature. Remember, adults are just grown children, but some people grow up in one area, but then lack in others. So it may be useful to step back and take a look at your own life from an objective view to see if perhaps there are any areas you can improve upon. You see, gossiping not only shows lack of integrity, but it is the weak-minded who do not have the guts to be tactfully forthright with others. And gossiping shows a very weak character. This is not for you. If there are other people around you gossiping, either live as an example for them of higher integrity by not engaging within that gossip, or stop associating with those people altogether. Wouldn't you rather use those hours, that focus, and that energy on something that can increase the quality of your life, like taking a singing class, or good quality time with your children or your family? Or even a second part-time job so you can set money aside and then use the principle of compound interest through time to become financially free. You see, time, focus, and energy is the wealth that has already been given to us as human beings. And however you invest these three resources is exactly how your life will turn out. I see so many good, well-meaning, and intelligent people who have steeped into the superstition that success is somehow beyond their control, or that success is just left up to the elite few, or is left up only to those who fall into wealth, or who are willing to manipulate others. Today, it is currently February of 2015. And statistics tell us there will be more self-made millionaires made in America in the up-and-coming 10 years than ever in history. Think about that. What about the horrible economy? What about the depreciation of the American dollar? What about all the jobs that were lost and the $17 trillion deficit in the sky that's falling? You see, the media focuses on limitation, negativity, and fear. Now, not to say these things aren't happening, and we will speak more about this in the up-and-coming programs, but remember, anything that is shocking or pertains to our survival, the media will pay attention to. Now, they use this to grab our attention, which equals ratings for them, which equals money in their pocket. You see, it is those who do not look to the outside world, but who instead look within themselves first, taking full and complete responsibility of their own personal economy and their greatest resources, who will be the ones who prevail in this new and up-and-coming age. Now, these new millionaires are not people with fancy degrees or elaborate educations. In fact, this is the new age of the entrepreneur, and these are very, very exciting times for the people who are willing to change with the world. So if we begin to think long-term and only act in such a way that invests to increase these three greatest resources, any healthy, sane individual can pretty much create anything they want for themselves within this lifetime and become hugely successful at whatever endeavor means most to them. You see, it is the most successful, happiest, and purpose-driven people on the planet who protect these three resources every way they can, never being swayed by limiting beliefs or myopic views of the world who will eventually prevail. And by the way, most time, focus, and energy wasters come with hair on top. Just like the media, some people endeavor in dramatic situations for the attention, and then they try to get you to fall into their drama. We have to be very careful of these types of situations because this will blast away your time, your focus, and your energy. You see, when I started to think this way, I truly became a leader. I began to lead my time, my focus, my energy, every single moment of every single day, which is my greatest resource, which is my wealth. And this has served me greatly throughout the years. My whole entire life changed simply because I realized that each and every one of us only has a very short amount of time, focus, and energy on this planet. And we must be very careful not to let any other person or situation drag us around with their agenda, floundering these resources away on us. We must spend these resources wisely. And as true leaders, we must keep complete control of these resources at all times. Many people flounder their time, their focus, and their energy every day, and then they wonder why they end up off purpose or unhappy at some level. Whenever a human being flounders their greatest resource, problems can manifest in different forms. When we are off purpose, we are subject to depression, relationship issues, addictions, and the list goes on because purpose is a human being's greatest value. By the way, if you sleep 7 hours per night, that gives you 17 full hours available to you for productive time, focus, and energy. And my last question to you is this. What is it that you think are the greatest hours of potential for you? Well, if you work a job or a job to pay the bills, but you're not happy with that job, then your greatest hours of potential are the hours after you get out of work. You see, if you're not happy with your job or your career, these are the hours from which all your potential lies. And most people waste these hours away. These are the hours from which you can learn, be, do, or have any skill or knowledge that can get you out of the job or career you dislike, or get you wherever you want to go in life. You see, awareness in and of itself can sometimes be curative, but most people are wasting these hours away by relaxing or watching TV or allowing others to control these hours of potential. If you're not happy with your life, you need to use these hours to change your life. Nobody else is going to do it for you, and these are the hours otherwise known as your hours of potential. Do not be steeped into the superstition that you do not have the energy after work. Movement creates energy. Stagnation creates tiredness. And if you continually break through, your body will adapt and create a new habit to find the energy. Look, I know it's not easy, but isn't it worth it? Do not buy into the hype. The human body is an extraordinary thing. And most people, they think that something terrible is going to happen if you overwork yourself. Well, that's just not true. The human body was built to be productive. Now, I know there was a ton of information here today, but please take these principles with you everywhere you go and with everything you do. Go back over this audio session and let it sink in. Understand it wholeheartedly. We are in this together, my friends. I want to thank you so much for engaging with me here today. Just some simple insights as we move toward our path to greatness together. In the next audio, we're going to speak a little bit about the power of the word and a little bit about meditation. Today, be your best, be yourself, live full throttle, and we'll see you next time. Bradley LeNart signing out.